Hey, thank you so much for clicking that button and joining me for today's show of the Uniweb Interview Show. Today I'm joined by the incredible Ann Harrison, author of A Journey of Faith, The Stepping Stones Mystery. Ann revealed to me during the interview something I didn't know because I follow her on blog, I follow her on Twitter, and I follow her writing as well. It's incredible. She's actually been blind since birth. It's a testament to how much she loves to write, her inspiration, her faith, and actually her journey as well. So, without further ado, let's go to the interview. Woo! Ed Harrison! Welcome to the Uniweb Interview Show! Yeah! I'm your host, Matthew Whiteside, joined today by Ann Harrison, author of A Journey of Faith, A Stepping Stones Mystery. Ann Harrison, how are you today?
Good.
Thank you so much for joining me. We're neighbors, apparently, right? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. That we are.
Yeah, we are. You're out in the country though. I'm kind of more in the
Uh-huh.
city.
Yep.
So you said before we got on the air you have some roosters around, right?
Yeah, they're in the well, we got one, we got two. We got one that runs in the yard sometimes, and then we got one in the pen, and we got hens. We got some more mature hens, and we got some young ones that have started laying eggs too. And let me tell you something, fresh yard eggs, fresh eggs from chickens are the best egg you ever put in your mouth.
I need to try some of those. I just get the store
Yes,
bought
you do. Yeah,
stuff.
you're missing out, dude. You're missing out. I'm telling you.
I miss out on way too much in life. That's it's one of the sad things. There's so much good stuff in life, you know? It's like
Yeah,
our cups truly runneth over.
yeah. And you were talking about us being neighbors. If
Yeah.
I had known you back in October, I could have invited you to a book signing because I was up in Buckhead,
Oh yeah.
at one of the libraries doing a book signing in October. If I'd have known you back then, I'd have invited you to come.
That would have been awesome. Where did you do the book signing?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember the name of the library. I'd have to look it up. I'll have to send you the fly. If you can
It was it
message me,
it was in Buckhead though?
yeah, it was Indicator, I think.
Decatur?
I have
Okay.
to
That's
look.
not too far from
I
me.
have to look. Yeah, I have to look. I have to send you the flyer. I think I've got your email. If not, DM me on Twitter, and I'll email you the flyer that I had.
Okay, awesome. Was the book signing for A Journey of Faith?
Yes.
So let's talk about this book, A Journey of Faith. Tell me all about it. I want to know what it's about.
Okay. So this 28-year-old girl, her name's Becca Martin. When she was 12, she witnesses this horrible accident on the stepping stones at Sweetwater Mountain, Sweetwater State Park, which all of these places are fictional. And I've made fictional towns in real states, so that not only that I wanted it to be my world and be believable, yet I didn't want to have to do a lot an extreme lot of research for this one
Right.
because this one came from the heart. So sorry about the echo, but anyway, um, and so she's afraid of climbing now because of it. But the book starts out, she has this dream where she's climbing up this rope ladder,
Uh-huh.
and her parents are there, and then this evil voice says you can never go back down. So now she's got this urge to take this journey that's been given to her by God. But she doesn't know that it's God yet because she turned away from him when that accident happened.
Yeah.
And so she takes this journey to figure out what happened, what haunts her dreams, and has haunted her dreams for the last 16 years,
Okay.
and to draw closer to God. Yes, I'm a Christian fiction author,
Okay.
and but there's a mystery surrounding Sweetwater Park. Not only was there that incident, but there's been other incidents at the park too that's got the Tinseltown police stymied, and they're the only ones that can handle it because nobody else wants to touch that. Nobody else wants to go there and investigate that. So not only is Becca trying to find out what's got her so afraid of climbing and why she sees these dreams. But she and Jason Miller are connected. She finally makes it to Tinseltown, where she talks to Jason, and they find out that there's more at Sweetwater Park than they first suspected. And one of her bosses, Asher Brooks, he ran this computer company that she used to work for. He's evil, man. He sends her on wild goose chases, but he's not the mastermind. He's not the mastermind. He's doing what his boss says, but then he gets saved toward the end. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but he gets saved toward the end of the book. And then he decides he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do what this guy wants him to do anymore. So, and I'm working on a sequel called Journey to the Mountaintop, because she's not actually done with the journey in A Journey of Faith. Mm-hmm. She's got to go and do more digging and investigating. Wow. And let's just say her father has an accident that really got them all trying to figure out what's going on. The second one's gonna be, this one's good. I'm gonna tell you, because I've heard people talk about it. Although I haven't seen any reviews yet. This one's good, but the second one is gonna be even more intense, man. It's gonna ramp up.
You're gonna turn up the juice, huh?
Yes, I'm turning up the juice. I love this. This is fun.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. The story sounds like it has a ton going on. I love this story of faith. Faith plays a huge part in my life.
Good, yes.
Yeah, a huge part in my writing. I write about it a lot on my blog. So it's very cool to see that.
I've seen that. I started following your blog too.
Yeah, I'm in recovery. So God plays a huge part in my life for sure, in my recovery and just living a better life, living, for myself and for other people, trying to be the best version of myself. I'm interested in this story though. What was the inspiration for the Journey of Faith?
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go back. I have been the victim of domestic violence. I was verbally abused by my first husband, and it started to get that way with my second, but I won't go there yet. But with my first husband, and when I left, I had dreams of climbing. It wasn't every night, but there were dreams of climbing intermittently. And then I just saw this movie playing out. This story started playing out like a movie in my head. And then to really bring it back to where it is now, and talking to me about it, and I was trying to tell him about it, and he said, well, what happened to her to make her run away from God? Because people don't just turn away from God for a reason. There had to be a reason. And it got me to thinking. And then I just saw the whole incident that she witnessed when she was 12. I just saw that whole incident in my head. And that's what, I rewrote half of it. When I first started out, it was a bunch of different things, and I ended up rewriting half of it and dumping a lot of scenes that I'll use later in later books and stuff. But still, it was an interesting write. Some of it was emotionally driven, I can tell you, but I prayed a lot about it, because this was one that God gave me, and now no matter what I write, I have to have that Christian element in my stories.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because I've talked to other authors about this, but I know that when I write, a lot of times I get into a state of flow where it doesn't seem like anything's necessarily coming from my own source of consciousness. It's coming from something different than outside of myself.
Coming from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, it's coming from that creative source, right? It's coming from something else, and it's amazing.
The Holy Spirit, like I said.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. An amazing feeling when that happens, right? So with this, A Journey of Faith, this is your second book?
This is actually the first full-length novel that I'm really proud of. I had a bad publishing experience a few years ago. I won't go into it.
Okay.
Because it was just I was really a new writer and trying to get my name out there and didn't know much about the process. So yeah, and I've made some mistakes. I had this one published a couple years ago, but there were other pitfalls that I found with the publisher I used then. So I just published it on KDP back in September.
So this just came out back in September.
Yeah, this version of it. There was another version that didn't have my logo and stuff on the back of the cover. that
Uh-huh.
came out 2 years ago. But like I said, the publisher, when I went to order books, I never got them, and everything just fell through. So I just decided not to work with him anymore.
So this is because your book is about faith, and I want to touch on something we talked about before the interview started.
Mm-hmm.
Because my idea of faith, it's an action word, right? It's faith is something that you do every day. It's something that you walk into without really knowing what's in front of you, but you have this belief that you'll be taken care of regardless, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like
Uh-huh.
walking down a path that's not lit, but
Mm-hmm.
each step you take, the light shows up. And it's
Yep.
just having that faith, like you said, in God and the Holy Spirit and that kind of thing. Having that faith to keep taking those steps forward, keep moving forward, no matter what. Now, the thing that blew my mind when we first got on, you told me that you're blind, correct?
Yep.
So you obviously have to have with your writing. How do you go about the whole writing process? I mean, it's got to be a step in faith for sure.
It is, but there's also my computer has a screen reading software. I've been using screen reader software like NVDA and System Access.
Mhm.
But now I use JAWS. JAWS for Windows. It stands for Job Access with Speech. Formatting, I had to have somebody else to do that for me because I
Right.
don't know a lot about the formatting process.
Mhm.
And I also do, like when I do notes, I do notes on my phone. I don't know if you have the iPhone, but I do, and and even the Android phones have an accessible screen reader built in, but iPhone has voiceover, so I'm able to do notes and things like that. That's one of the ways I do Twitter, and I also, like I said, that's what I do, and I use assistive technology to help me with my writing. But writing isn't just sitting down at the computer.
Right.
Writing is also brainstorming out on the front porch for me.
Yeah. So you do it pretty much anywhere you are, right?
Oh yeah, I can listen to music, and uh, when I'm writing, I love instrumental music. But
Mm.
and I also, and I'm gonna put in a plug for these devices too. And if
Okay.
you have one, the Echo devices, I've got one now, and I've made an ideas list, a to-do list, and now I've got a notes list so that Alexa can keep quick notes for me.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. Makes things a lot easier, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing like streamlining and having a personal assistant. I need to get one of those. My freaking life's
Yeah.
perfect.
But she reads my Kindles for me too, so.
Yeah. So with the reading, what are your inspirations for reading growing up? Or
Oh gosh, I was and see, the Library of Congress has this thing called the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped,
uh-huh.
which anyway, and what it is it's talking books that when I first started they were on tapes and records. And I got my first books when I was like 5 years old. And I'll
Uh-huh.
tell you, my favorite one back then was a book called King Emmet's Pig. I don't
Okay.
remember who the author is, and I don't know if you would remember that, but anyway. And
Uh-uh.
so from there, I started reading, different, all kinds of things. Nancy Drew, the Little House books. Um, I read classics. Well, not anything. There were some weird stuff that I read too that I wasn't inspired by so much. But I
Just,
love. Oh yeah,
okay.
there was this one about this guy who had cancer in his left hip, and he
Uh-huh.
was talking about the radiation and stuff. He wrote his memoir.
Ah,
So I've read some really interesting stuff. But no, my thing is mysteries.
okay.
And I'll read sweet romance and Christian romance. I've read some of the more juicy romances, but now they're getting kind of, to me, it's just all the same thing. I don't like those really. And now if it's romantic suspense, I'll read that because again, the mystery element. And
Absolutely.
I used to read thrillers like James Patterson,
Yeah.
but some of that stuff turns my stomach because some of it's just ugh. Even
It's
Dean
gruesome.
Koontz.
It can be pretty gruesome.
It can, and not only that, James Patterson is just too predictable.
Well, he writes a book like a month, so.
And well, no, he doesn't do all his writing. He has ghostwriters do some of it.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh my gosh, is
he
that
uses
breaking
ghostwriters.
news? I've never heard that before. Really?
Yep, a friend of mine told me that.
Oh my gosh, Ghost.
Yeah, he does ghostwriting.
You heard it
He has
first,
ghostwriters.
folks. James Patterson uses ghostwriters.
Well, but don't quote me on that. So go look it up to make sure I'm right. Now, I that's what I was told. So go Google that and
Okay.
make sure.
Okay, so this is all word of mouth. Everything we hear is true on the internet. So as soon as I put this online, it's true. I'm gonna put it.
You might want to
I'm
Google.
gonna put it in the description that James Patterson uses ghostwriters, as
You
said
might
by
want
as
to.
Ann Harrison.
You might want to go Google that, and then you might want to Google it and add a link to a source
Yeah,
to make sure people will believe it.
that's
You know?
fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
and so you do a lot of blogging as well, and writes
I
inspiration
do. Yes, I do.
about
I
the blog.
share blog posts. I write inspirational blog, spiritual blog posts. I'm actually doing one now based on a question that I heard from another podcast.
Okay.
And the question was, if it was anyone living or dead you wanted to have coffee with, who would that be? And I'm writing the blog post to explain that.
Who would it be? Do you already?
I have somebody. I don't know if you're familiar with him. The late great country artist Dan Seals.
Dan Seals. No, I've never heard of him.
England Dan and John Ford Coley.
Uh-uh.
I'd
Never,
really
not
love to
familiar.
see it. The song that was really popular was "I Really Love to See You Tonight." Nights
Oh,
are forever without you.
see it tonight. Like that?
No, I'd really love to see you tonight. Yeah, that. You know, but anyway,
Okay.
I've got some. I'm gonna have some links, and I've got another blog post that I'm gonna ping back to this one, where I've
Yeah.
put links about him, and I've given songs that they've done and stuff. Anyway, his music, like I told you, I was emotionally and verbally abused before,
Yeah.
and his music, I found his music to be a source of healing and comfort during that time. And some of his songs actually have one of his songs called "A Good Rain" off of his album "Walking the Wire."
Yeah.
If you got Amazon Music, you can or you can find that song on YouTube. Um, but that song inspired the scene about Mr. Peabody, the girl's father,
Uh-huh.
losing his farm. That inspired that particular scene.
Okay.
And I would, I'd ask him about, what was the aha moment for him, what got him inspired, and tell him how his music resonated with me. That's who I would have wanted to have coffee with. Even though I
See.
love other artists and stuff, I've loved other artists and, played their music a lot. His music always resonated with me.
It's important finding those people we resonate with, and we talked about this before we started recording, but all of our stories have a different resonance to them that
Yeah.
is going to inspire or light somebody else up, and that's the kind of thing that really lights me up. I love finding that stuff because I feel like as human beings we're all connected, no matter how many differences we have, however it is that we all have this single connection that we're all human. Um, and that if we can find these different stories, these different things that inspire us and resonate with us, then we can come together as a community of humanity as opposed to being separate people, because there's too much separatism in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we can come together by sharing our stories, that's one of the most important things we can do as a world. And I mean, you writing how you're writing, what you're writing, the inspirational stuff. I know that resonates with other people. It resonates with people. How long have you been writing?
Um, over almost 9 years. June will be 9 years. I don't remember the exact date, but I started in June. And I do professional writing too. I've done some freelance work.
Okay. What so was it like something that you felt called to do? You felt called to write?
Yes, that's my passion. I love music. I like to sing in
Uh-huh.
my church choir, but I'm not a professional musician.
Uh-huh.
Even though I tried to learn how to play the piano and become a professional musician, well, let me put it this way: that was not my calling. Writing is my calling. My music. I'll tell you another way that I get inspired. Sometimes I'll hear melodies in my head,
Yeah.
and then the melodies I couldn't hear the melody in my head, go and let it go through my head, through my innermost being, out to my fingers and onto the piano keys or the keyboard. because for some reason my brain hand coordination was just not where that needed to be. So what happens is it comes out of my head and through my fingers and onto my computer keys as a story.
Ah.
My words are my instrument. The melodies within me are the stories I tell.
That is very profound. I was just talking with somebody about that, how it's we can't judge how the spirit lights us up and how it comes out of us. We just have to be willing to allow it to come out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like for a lot of writers, I know I got caught up in this at first because I wanted to write my story, and I thought I had to write it in a certain way. But I was amazed when I just started writing how the story was flowing, how it came out, exactly how it was supposed to.
Wow. What kind of writing do you do, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so it's like sci-fi and fantasy. And I was wanting to write like a memoir style, but it was like it just wouldn't happen. So I started writing because I love sci-fi and fantasy. And through writing those things, my story played out in those stories, just more in a metaphorical sense. But it was incredible. Like the story wants to come out.
Oh yeah. I started writing fantasy. My new novelette coming out is going to be a fantasy.
What's it called?
It's called Winter Haven Rescue is the one that's coming out in March.
Winter Haven.
It's a rescue.
Okay.
And what it is, and I am having trouble writing the blurb for it, but anyway, what's happening is the village of Snow Angel that's within the land of Winter Haven has been destroyed. There's no snow. And the Firefly and his band of dragons have forced everyone out of Snow Angel and have practically burned the land. So now the native beacons, which is a creature that I've created, are sent to get these three girls, Anastasia, Cadence, and Aurora, to go and save the land. But Aurora is not who she appears to be at first.
Okay.
So there's a lot of mystery behind Aurora. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah.
Sure.
So, but yeah, at the end you got to find out who she really is.
Okay, cool. And that comes out in March. Do you have a
March the 10th. March the 10th is the launch date.
Awesome. All right, so we'll definitely be looking out for that March the 10th. And that's going to be posted on Amazon as well?
Yep. I'm going to do it on Amazon, Smashwords,
Okay. Cool. So you're working on that. How often do you write a day? Like, do you have a certain amount of words you try to get in a day?
No, I don't use a word goal. I just do, and sometimes it's not every day. When the muse hits, or when I, and the reason I put this deadline on me so I know I'd get it finished. But like when something inspires me, and an idea will not leave me alone.
Yeah. Because
this one started out as a dream too. I had a dream that my daughter was talking to this creature. He looks like a winged horse. It's 5 feet tall, 6 feet long, and his wings spread out 6 feet wide. But yet he can speak the our language, but yet he has a musical flute-like language of his own. Okay. Sorry about that. And
you all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a limb just decided it was gonna blow down on me. Sorry. There we go. Having a little technical issue here. And anyway, so she wanted to fly away with this thing. And then when I woke up, I had to finish playing the scene out in my head. Yeah. And the beacon told her no, he could not take her with him, but he would give us rides on his back.
And this was all in the dream?
Yeah, this was in the dream. All right. It took me a month to actually get inspired, get going on it, though.
So you have a dream journal, or do you wake up and write these dreams down, or how do you go about it?
Not always. Sometimes I do.
Don't ever stick with me.
Well, sometimes now this is what's happened with me. Sometimes a dream. Now, not all my dreams stick with me, but there are some dreams I wake up from, and the scene just continues to play out in my head. Okay. Yeah, and those are the ones that stay with me, that are memorable to me.
Yeah. I have a friend that does this thing called dream tending, and what dream tending is where, I don't know, have you ever heard of it?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so dream tending is basically where you take a dream. So we have the basic format of the dream, right? And when we wake up, the dream stops there. So what you do is
Mhm.
you try to write down what the dream is, what you can remember of the dream, and you start playing on it as soon as you can and building on the story that happened in the dream. So you're adding to it with your active imagination what happened in the dream. So you try to put yourself back in that situation in a waking state, and then you allow the dream to play out in reality. That makes sense. So it's like just build the dream out.
I
It's
wonder
kind of
if
like
that's what
it.
I wonder if that's what happens when some of these dreams keep playing out in my head when I wake up.
That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like that's what's happening. It's like the dream just keeps on, flowing. Like your imagination is actively going after that dream, which is really cool. Because
Uh
there's
huh.
people who actually teach this, like who teach people how to do it. Because following, I mean, there's so much creativity in our dreams and our sleep state.
Mhm.
I mean, was it James Cameron that wrote Avatar, right, from a dream?
Oh, I've heard of
Yeah,
that book, but I haven't read it.
Avatar. It was well, it
Mhm.
was a blockbuster movie too. It's like made the largest grossing movie in the world.
Yeah,
What
I
did
read about that somewhere.
Yeah,
Either read about it or heard it in a podcast.
James Cameron had a dream about it or something. But um, so Anne, I want to know what legacy are you looking to leave with your writing?
Well, with my writing, I want to know. I want people to know that God loves everybody, and that we should not give up on our dreams and our, what the plan that God has for us. We shouldn't give up on our aspirations, no matter what we have to face. And that's why I wrote A Journey of Faith. That's one of the reasons why, because I wanted people to know that they shouldn't let fear hold them back, by sharing Becca's story.
Yeah, fear can be a huge thing, especially when
Oh
authors
yes.
are trying to. I mean, I know, especially when we're trying to get published and we're trying to put our work out there. Anytime we have art, that art comes from the soul. I feel like you. I know I feel that way. Art comes from the soul. It comes from a deep hurt place. It comes from a very raw place for a lot of people. So to put that out there, there's a lot of fear involved with I'll be judged, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's so important to have that faith to know that even if I am judged by the world, that there's something greater than me that loves me regardless, right?
Yep. Uh huh. Yep.
Well, that's fantastic. I love the idea that you're writing about faith, your faith. I'm so inspired, by the fact that you've been writing for 9 years, that you found a way to follow your passion, um, which is fantastic to me because you're living
Mhm.
what you're speaking. You're speaking about faith and you're living by faith, which is so cool to
Yep.
see. You see people talk about it all the time, but actually doing it's a different story, right?
Mhm. And not only that, I've worked with the Gallup organization. I worked in customer service, doing surveys and stuff, and I
Uh-huh.
got bored with it. I don't think, and honestly, I don't think I lost that imagination that I had as a child.
Right.
It's just matured, I think, and a lot of people do lose that,
Yeah.
because they're so focused on the corporate world and what they can gain and everything. No, creativity is more than that.
Yeah.
Creativity comes from the soul.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it gets buried along the way. I think it can get buried along the way. I think
It
it's
can.
always there for all of us. I think it's just buried deeper down, in some than others. But I feel like it's
Yeah.
there. And it's a work of faith and progress to uncover it.
And you gotta open yourself. You gotta allow yourself to be creative, to open yourself up to the creative thoughts and emotions that come within. And that's what I learned through the music.
Yeah.
And that's when, if I can say this real quick, that's why when I listen to a song or a piece of music, I don't just listen to it for entertainment. I've learned how to feel the music, how to dig into it, to find the message within the heart of the song, and find those little nuances that a lot of people miss.
Yeah, because there are those. I mean, there's those things. The creator of the song, just like the creator of whoever writes their story, there's always deeper meaning within. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it takes time to actually flesh that out and digest that. That's very cool.
Yep.
Uh, What do you have anything you want to leave with the writing community, or you want to say to the writing community?
Well, to the writing community, all I can say is don't let fear hold you back. Don't be afraid to show your writing to the world. It's always good to share that because you have a story to tell. It's got to come out. If it doesn't come out, then then what? How do I want to say this? What's a story that's not told? You know, you can't you gotta let that go. You gotta let that come out, and also connect with other writers because we're all here to help each other. Writing is not a competition; it's a collaboration.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. Yeah, that makes so much sense to me. I always talk about how this is an abundant universe, that there's enough for everybody. And I heard this quote this morning that a flower does not compete with the flower next to it. A flower simply blooms, and that's what we're here to do. If we can bloom and be beautiful, we don't have to compete with one another. There's plenty to go around. There's plenty of there's plenty of readers who want to read our stories. There's plenty out there for everybody, and we can do it all together. If we help lift each other up,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Ann Harrison, I want to thank you again so much for coming on and talking about your book, A Journey of Faith, with me, and your blog, and your other books that you have coming out. March 10th. What was the name of the book that's coming out March 10th? It's a
Winter Haven Rescue.
Winter Haven Rescue, March 10th on Amazon. I'm gonna share links. I'll share links in the video to A Journey of Faith and to your blog and to your Twitter, so people can know how to connect with you.
And my Facebook too, if you want to do that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have it, but I'll make sure to get that link from you. And,
it's in my media kit. It's
okay.
in the media kit.
I'll go ahead. I'll get that, and I'll put it on the video as well. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yes, Uniweb. It's a Uniweb interview where all people become one people. We'll see you next time, okay? Don't be a stranger.
Oh, no. You and I are connected now. We're on Twitter. You'll see me on Twitter in the writing community. And just hit me up when you want to chat. Are you still recording?
Yeah, I am. I'm about to stop.
Sorry.
I'm going to stop. Say bye.
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 My